Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm returning to you for this worst movies of 2023 video. Sorry for the lengthy delay for this next video that I wanted to do. I just basically didn't. I wanted to wait to do this, and Merry Christmas to you guys, by the way. So yeah, we're gonna do the worst movies of 2023 video. Then on the 27th will be the best albums of 2023. And to close it out for the year on the 28th will be the best movies of 2023. So I'm going to discuss from 34 to 1. Hopefully I can get it all done in this video on what the worst movies of 2023 in my opinion were. There's 34 movies, keep in mind. So there's a lot of ground to cover for this video. So I'll let you know my thoughts on all 34 to 1. And I'll let you know what the worst of the worst is for this year. So let's dive right into number 34, which is Love Again. I was really disappointed with the script. This was more of a disappointing movie because I think Priyanka Chopra's performance was kind of mid and easily forgettable. And the guy that she was falling in love with, I don't know, this movie didn't work in any way, and I was very disappointed with the outcome of the film and the premise and just how it turned out. So this was a letdown, unfortunately. So at number 34 is Love Again. I did review it on my channel, so you can definitely go check out that movie review if you haven't seen it. The next one is My Big Fat Greek Wedding at number 33. This one was unfortunately disappointing. I was hoping to like this film, but I felt bored with this film, and the premise just didn't execute too well. They made two films. I heard the second one was kind of mid and in the middle with some people. It was getting a lot of mixed reviews, the second one. The first one I heard was the best, but honestly, me watching the third film, I was sadly disappointed and was regretting watching it because I was bored out of my mind with this film. So at number 33 is My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3. Number 32 is The Flash. Now this was a disappointing movie. Technically this was on my okay to man movies at first as the year went on, but as of now, I've grown to really distance myself from this film because I don't like Ezra Miller as a person. He's a terrible human being and just not a good person to actually meet in real life. The dude fucking choked a fan, and it made some violent death threats to this married couple or whatever, saying, I will kill you in your sleep, or whatever the fuck he said. I don't know his exact words, word to word, but it was pretty bad. Let's just say that. He's done a lot of fucked up shit, this man has, and he should be in jail. And basically this film was his last for the DCEU, and I think the DC is kind of done at this point, along with the MCU. The MCU had some pretty hits and misses this year, and the Marvels being one of them, personally. So, at number 32 is The Flash. I didn't like the storyline where he goes back in time to try to recorrect the past and save his mom and all that, and then he tries to go back in time to repeat an event that failed and all that, and it's a butterfly effect. It didn't fucking change anything. It just was the same outcome. But he made it even 10 times worse. And I'm like, dude, give it up. You can't fucking do that shit. You're just gonna make it worse, honestly. So, that's where I had a problem with the story. So, basically, the ending was pretty bad. I didn't like how George Clooney came back at the end of the film and was like, wait, he's Batman again? So, basically, number 32 is The Flash. I didn't like the story. I mean, I liked what's his name? I know his name. The original Batman from the first film. Which you might know who I'm talking about. I just can't think of his name at the precise time for this moment. But he was the best Batman back in the 70s and 80s. So basically, I'm glad they put him in the film, but at the same time, the film did suck. Number 30 is going to be 31 is going to be Freelance. I think this film was bad. I wasn't really a fan of this film. I said 30 at first, so please forgive me if I said 30. It's 31. Freelance was a disappointing film. I was wanting to like this film. The performances were kind of bad in this film, but everything else about the movie, the only... Excuse my yawning, I'm gonna be going to sleep pretty soon. The only standout, I meant to say, for this film, it was President Venegas, the guy that plays for President Venegas in this film. I did review this film not that long ago, maybe about a couple days ago or something like that. I've been trying to catch up on every movie I've been watching lately, but honestly, I think it was about time to get this video under the way and all that. So, pretty much number 31 is Freelance. I was hoping to like this film, but at the same time, the performances were pretty bad, and just the overall storyline didn't interest me that much. It was just eh. So, at number 30 is Pet Sematary Bloodlines. This film was just not very good. It was a disappointment too. I was really hoping to like this film too, but I found myself in disappointment with the film overall, and just I don't know, it just didn't interest me that much. And I was, like I said, really wanting to like this film, but it didn't execute too well. So, number 30 is Pet Sematary Bloodlines. Number 29 is Retribution. This film was not very good. This is another Liam Neeson film that I know he tried with this film with the story, but it did not execute in the way I thought it would. It was just plain boring and just disappointing. So I was really bored for the hour and a half of this film or whatever. Excuse my yawning. And the film didn't execute too well, so number 29 is Retribution. Number 28 is Magic Mike's Last Dance. This film was just the worst fucking film I've seen this year. One of the worst, but it's not the worst of the worst. Still, the storyline was disappointing. I felt bored with Salma Hayek's performance. Some of the performances were kind of mid. I mean, it tried with the story, but it didn't execute in the way I thought it would. So, at number 28 is Magic Mike's Last Dance. I did review the movie. If you want to go check out that review I did earlier this year. You might enjoy it, so definitely give it a shot and see what you think of it for that video. Number 27 is The Boogeyman. This film was a letdown. I wasn't really liking this film with how it turned out, so this is a pretty bad film. I mean, they tried with the story, but it didn't execute too well. And it just felt like a snooze fest, this film. So number 27 is The Boogeyman. The performances were kind of mid, and just the plot and the premise kind of got boring and stale, and it didn't execute in the way that I thought it would. Alright, and number 26 is going to be Heart of Stone. This film was kind of in the middle with me, but it was a bad film. I mean, the only thing that I will say about, what's her name? Gal Gadot's performance. I just think her performance was okay, but the script felt stale, and I didn't really connect with this film in the way I thought I would. So at number 26 is Heart of Stone. The premise is just, it's something, but the film's execution was the problem. The pacing and the execution of how the story was playing out didn't really pan out too well. So at number 25 is going to be Ghosted. The what's her name? Anna. I can't remember her name, but I've seen her in many movies. But basically, Chris Evans is in this film, and overall, the story was kind of boring, and it didn't really please me too much. So this was a letdown, unfortunately. So at number 24 is going to be Ghosted. So at number, I guess you could say number 24. So basically, I wrote the same thing, unfortunately. So I might have messed up on my part on this video or whatever. So let's just continue. Number 23. So sorry to skip number 25. To recorrect everything, it starts from number 33 to now. So Love Again was number 33. To give a official recap on what the numbers are, I put Ghosted twice by mistake. That's what I did wrong on my list. And number 32 is My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Then 31 is The Flash. 30 is Freelance. 29 is Pet Sematary Bloodlines. 28 is Magic Mike's Last Dance, or Retribution, I meant to say. Then it's Magic Mike's Last Dance for 27. Boogeyman for 26. Heart of Stone for 25. Ghosted for 24. And now number 23 is It's a Wonderful Knife. This film was not very good. The script was not well executed, and it didn't pan out too well, this film. So I was really disappointed with how the film turned out. So at number 23 is It's a Wonderful Knife. She kind of went back in time to basically recorrect a mistake she made, saying she wishes she was never born. And then That Certain Christmas Killer came out again. And honestly, the film's performance was kind of weak. And just the main character, I didn't feel for her character too much. I thought it was okay, but it wasn't great in any sense. So at number 23 is It's a Wonderful Knife. Number 22 is The Exorcist Believer. Now, this film was not very good in any way. I was really wanting to like this film, but I just found myself disliking it not in a good way. So, number 22 is The Exorcist Believer. I mean, it's two girls getting possessed by the demons or whatever, certain demons, and honestly, the premise didn't do very well. And just when you see the movie itself, you're gonna be bored out of your mind with this film. And the jump scares didn't do shit. Maybe a few did, but overall, the majority of the movie sucked. Number 21 is going to be Peter Pan and Wendy. I think this film was bad. It wasn't a great film. I was very bored with this film and uninterested in how the film turned out because it didn't execute too well. And, I mean, they tried, but the storyline didn't do very well. So, Number 21 is Peter Pan and Wendy. Number 20 is The Old Way. This film is not very good. It's a hot mess. I just felt that I hated this film with how it turned out, and Nicolas Cage's performance is kind of weak in this film. I mean, he was okay, but it's not great. But the girl that said "Wham Wham, my baby," I was like, what the fuck is this shit? This sounds awful. And her performance was very weak in this film, and I hated her character. I'm sorry that she's a young actress. I think 12 or 13 is when she did this film, which this film came out at the beginning of this year, but it was a god-awful film, and I didn't like it. So number 20 is The Old Way. Number 19 is Sick. This film just didn't do it for me. Storyline sucked. It's a horror movie in a sense, but it takes place in some kind of nice house where there are a few killers, and this movie uninterested me, and I was just like, man, 2023 sucked this year for films. So basically, there was a lot of films that were pretty bad this year. A lot more than last year. So if you thought 2022 was bad for films, think again. 2023 was filled with cringe and garbage. So basically, number 19 is Sick. Number 18 is 65. So I'm very sorry for recorrecting my fuck up at the beginning of this video. I thought it was 34 I started off on, but it is 33 to be precise. 33 movies that are bad this year. Just letting you know. So that way you know that I recorrected myself, in a sense. So I did screw up on my part. But yeah, number 18 is 65. This film was about how Adam Driver is going to Earth or whatever, and then he discovers the dinosaurs before they go extinct from the meteor shower. So they have to get out of there before the meteor shower hits, and honestly, this movie didn't do it. This was a bad film. I was really wanting to like this film, but I ended up hating it in a way. So number 18 is 65. Number 17 is Spy Kids Armageddon. This film didn't do it. It was cringe. It was garbage. And I just did not like this film. I was really hoping this film wouldn't suck so bad, but it did. So number 17 is Spy Kids Armageddon, and now at number 16 is The Pope's Exorcist. This film was awful. It was boring. I did not feel for the jump scares. I mean, the storyline was interesting, but the execution was the problem with the jump scares and all that stuff about the certain kid being trying to be exorcised and all that, and this film did not do it in a way where I liked it. So number 16 is The Pope's Exorcist. I mean, Russell Crowe's performance was pretty outstanding, but the rest of the film didn't carry enough weight to keep the film entertaining, to keep the film entertained for the audience. It was a weak film this year. Number 15 is The Mother. This film was hot garbage. I think Jennifer Lopez's performance, she tried, but tried too hard with her performance. I think her acting is not very good anymore. I mean, she's kind of overrated, and like I don't know, she's very over the top with things with her performance. And I mean, she tries too hard to make the film good, but the film failed with the storyline, the pacing, and the execution. So this film didn't do it. Number 15 was The Mother. Number 14 is House Party. This film sucked big time. I really disliked this film. I wanted to like it, but a part of me was like, nah, this isn't good. So, yeah, the storyline is just stupid, and just them throwing a house party at someone else's house, LeBron James's house, and they come to find out that they shouldn't have done that in the first place. So, stupid decision making for those two guys in the movie. And this film sucked. So, number 14 is House Party. Number 13 is Strays. This film was a mess. I didn't like this film in any way. And I wanted to really just say, nope, this film was not good. The overall performances from Jamie Foxx and Will Ferrell as a certain dog. I don't know, Will Ferrell's performance as voice acting the certain dog didn't do well, and I couldn't like his performance. I mean, Will Ferrell is funny at times, but nowadays he just doesn't deliver. He doesn't have a good delivery with his jokes and his punchlines lately. Jamie Foxx, however, did to a sense, but it didn't execute fully in the way that we thought it would. So at number 13 is Strays. I mean, the story was sad, but it was unfortunate that the film was bad. Because Will Forte was an animal abuser and all that shit, so he was fucked up in the head, and his character was fucked up, big time. So, number 12 is The Marvels. This film, I know a lot of people are saying that I'm not an MCU fan. I am an MCU fan. Here is the problem with this film. It bored the fuck out of me. It was not a well executed film. It was an hour and 45 minutes of a film, and it did not do so well in the way we thought it would. Sorry, I had a pop up on my laptop for wanting to restart the laptop. So basically, The Marvels was a piss poor film. I mean, Brie Larson, I didn't feel for her performance. Teyonah Parris, just didn't care for her performance. And the girl that played Miss Marvel kind of was over hyper in a sense, and I just couldn't really fathom and get on board with her character. I mean, her character had an interesting storyline in this film, but the execution was the biggest problem for this film, and this film didn't do it. It was a piss poor movie. One of the worst MCU movies that I've seen this year. So at number 12 is The Marvels. Number 11 is The Good Mother. This film was boring as fuck, and the story was so bad that I could not get on board with this film. I mean, I have seen films that are bad, but this is just almost top 10 bad. So, at least it wasn't top 10, but it was number 11. So, at number 11 is The Good Mother. Number 10 is Zoe 102. Now, this was a horrible film. I mean, Jamie Lynn Spears' acting in this was bad, and everyone else in the film didn't really impress me too much. This is one of the worst films of 2023. Not the worst of the worst, meaning worst movie of the year, but it is a bad film. So it is top 10 material. So number 10 was Zoe 102. I just didn't like the story. It sucked, and the premise didn't interest me because it's just, we already know what's going to happen. It's just Chase and Zoe getting back together at the end of the film, and then stupid crap happens at the end of the film where it's like, why did they even make this in the first place? So, number 10 was Zoe 102. Number 9 is gonna be The Tutor. This film was not good. I was really disappointed with this film, and I really wanted to like this film, but a part of me was like, nope, this film sucked. And Victoria Justice's performance was okay, but not very good. I just wasn't feeling for the performances. The guy that played Victoria Justice's, I guess, boyfriend or whatever in this film, did not like his performance. I really hated his performance in this film. And the kid that plays in Stranger Things as Will in that film, I don't know, his performance was okay, but not great. So pretty much the performances were bad and the movie was bad. So number 9 is The Tutor. Number 8 is gonna be You People. This film with Jonah Hill and basically Eddie Murphy. What was the point in this Netflix film? Netflix has been cringe for a while, and we all know that Netflix are greedy sons of bitches that do cash grab stuff and sympathize with criminality. So we all know that fucking shit. But the problem is that Netflix has been going downhill lately with their movie material, and their ideas that they've been coming up with are the most ridiculous, redundant films that we could give two shits about. So basically, You People was a catastrophe of a film, and it was top 10 material of the worst films of 2023. So number 8 is You People. And at number 7 is going to be Shotgun Wedding. This film is not good. I did not like this film. I don't know what it was, but Josh Duhamel or whatever his name is, and Jennifer Lopez, their chemistry was bad in this film. I just couldn't connect with this film in any way, and I wanted to like it, but a part of me was like, nope, this film is hot garbage. So at number 7 was Shotgun Wedding. The storyline was not interesting, and the whole how the movie played out didn't pan out well. Number 6 is 80 for Brady. This film is garbage. It almost made it in the top 5, but it didn't, unfortunately. But it is top 10 material. It's not a good film in any way. So, I watched it earlier this year, and I found myself hating this film. I was like, I think I gave up on this film afterwards. I was like, nope, I'm done. I've seen it all. It sucks. So, there was a few films I gave up on this year that I could not continue watching because of how bad it was. Like, my number 1, for instance, which we will talk about that at close to the end of this video. So, at number 6 is 80 for Brady. Number 5 is going to be The Outlaws. This film is not good. This is one of the worst films of 2023, and it is top 5 material. It has Nina Dobrev in this film, and a few other actors like Pierce Brosnan. His performance was kind of mid and not very great. Nina Dobrev, I think her performance was alright and convincing, but Pierce Brosnan, nah. I was a little disappointed with his performance, along with Nina Dobrev and the other guy that plays the boyfriend of Nina Dobrev in the movie. I just wasn't a fan of his performance. He kind of was annoying in a sense. So number 5 is The Outlaws. Alright, and number 4 is Expendables. Now this is one of the worst films of this year. It is top 5 material because it is horrible. Like, okay, if you've seen this film already, you know that Barney dies at the beginning of the film. They kill his character off. And then, what's so stupid is they bring him back at the end of the film, meaning they faked his death. Like, what the fuck? Whoever directed this film did a piss poor fucking job at this film, and this film can go die in a hole and stay in that hole and be buried in the pits of hell. So, yeah, that's how bad I hated this film. And honestly, it is a clusterfuck. So, basically, number 4 is Expendables. Even Megan Fox's acting was just whiny and like she was complaining a lot and just like, oh, I want this done now kind of shit. And it's like, get over yourself, you stupid fucking cunt. Excuse my language, but seriously. But that's how much I hated this Expendables film. But not as much as my number 1. I just had to rant about that, so that way you have something to be entertained for. Excuse me for saying the C word. I didn't mean to say it. It's just, that's how it made me feel, this film. It was a horrible ass film. So, number 3 is Children of the Corn. This film even sucked worse than the Expendables. I didn't like the storyline. I didn't like how bad the premise turned out, and the girl that played the one that was part going into the corn and just becoming possessed and killing people and all that stuff, the leader, her performance was awful. And I don't know, this film just didn't do it in any way, and I wish this could have been a better film, but it failed big time. It was a mess. So, it took them, this film was supposed to be out in 2020. It took them 2.5, 3 years to finish up on the film and get it officially released because of the COVID-19 delay and all that stuff because of the pandemic. So I understand that they couldn't get every film out they wanted to, but come on, this film could have done much better. So number 3 is The Children of the Corn, or Children of the Corn. Number 2 is Fool's Paradise. I really thought this was going to be worst movie of the year, because they take a mental health patient out of the hospital, out of the psych ward, and put him out on the streets of Hollywood, just so he can become famous and be an actor. And it's like, don't you guys have any sympathy for mental health related stuff? Because this is kind of discriminating against mental health. Keep in mind, this is what really pisses me the fuck off with Hollywood. Like, come up with better fucking ideas for movies. This is a half-ass. It's like you're basically throwing out shit to the world. Some horrible shit, and making us think it's entertaining, when it's really not. This is horrible, demeaning, and awful. And keep in mind, I do not make fun of mental health, because I am an advocate for people that go through mental health related stuff, because I sympathize with it. I can relate. But honestly, some people like to make up shit, and I don't really want to bring that into topic. But still, this film was awful, and this film can go fuck itself, because it's like Hollywood is being discriminating against mental health in this sense, and it's awful. And I don't know what Charlie Day was thinking. I mean, he needed a job at the time for this film, but it wasn't a good film. It was a cash grab, and it sucked. The story sucked. So finally, at number 1, drum roll please. Sick Girl. Why would I pick this film? Because she threw a phone. Nina Dobrev's performance was awful in this film. I will tell you that. But she threw a phone at her in the film, of course, not what happened in real life. That's what happened in the film of what I saw. She threw a phone at her friend's son or whatever in the face, and the kid cried, and then she said, "I have cancer," and it's like, what the fuck is this about? Because I was pissed off after hearing what I saw and what I heard, and I was like, this film sucks big time. So basically, Sick Girl is the worst movie of the year. So congratulations, you became worst film of 2023 in my opinion. And I'm sorry, Nina Dobrev, you're a great actress, but this film was not your best, and your performance was pretty awful. No hate towards you, it's just try to be in a better film and with a better script. So this film didn't do it, and it sucked even worse than at The Outlaws. So even though The Outlaws was in my top 5, it still was the worst movie of 2023, along with Fool's Paradise being the contender. But either way, this film was hot garbage. So at number 1 is Sick Girl. So I did not think this film was going to be my worst movie of 2023, but I thought it was going to be Fool's Paradise, but something beat it to the punch. There are films that have made poorly executed scripts, and they're getting away with it because they want money. And it's like, fuck you, Hollywood. Fuck you. You need to make better films with better scripts, better screenplay writers, and try a little harder and take your time and not rush it too much to get it out that year. Take your time to formulate a better script. So that's all I'm going to say in this sense, but still, I hope you enjoyed this Worst Movies of 2023 video. It's a long one, keep in mind, but I hope you enjoyed it. And with that being said, guys, I'm going to end it here. You guys have a good night. Merry Christmas. I will have a live stream tomorrow, and hopefully you enjoyed this end of the year video. The next end of the year video is coming out on 27th, which will be this Wednesday for best albums of 2023, and then the final end of the year video will be on the 28th, and then I'll have a special video for letting you know how my 2023 was, probably by Friday. So with that being said, thanks for watching this end of the year video. Have a good night and Merry Christmas.